Hi everyone, and welcome back to Intuitive-da-MoonGoddess channel. So today I'm gonna be using, I have a new deck. It's called the Starseed Oracle deck, um, as well as my Angel Oracle. That's gonna be the first deck that I use along with my original tarot deck for today's reading. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and thank you all for the love. I do appreciate it if you have shown it or even have taken the time to listen to my videos. So I did change the angle of my camera. It do look a little better as of now. No, I think I kind of like this angle just a little bit better. So getting into it, what is something that we need to hear today? What positive message or energy do we need to feel or learn about or receive? Okay, so we got our first card out. It came out face down. Let's see what's going on here. And it says self-acceptance. So what I get from that, sometimes some of us suffer from that self-acceptance. This may not be for the collective in general. This could be someone that we know, a family member, a friend, just someone out on the streets that's having a difficult time at the moment. But once you realize that you are going through this, accept the moment for what it is, and then you can start releasing that with some prayer, with meditation, journaling, different things to get your mind back focused and back on track. And once you bring that acceptance or that awareness back into your life, you create room for new positive things. And what did I say? You create room for new positive things or more positive outcomes. And what came out was spiritual growth. So that lets you know that if you have put in this work, either for yourself or for others, just know that you are on the path to ascension and personal growth, and so that you can continue to gain what it is that you need in your life at the moment. And with that comes vulnerability and freedom. And with vulnerability and freedom is that you create this room to let go, to be yourself, and to create a safe space for yourself to be vulnerable and feel that it's okay to release the weight. And that's how you also create change within your life or within the people around you. Once you find that release and knowing that you can be vulnerable with yourself and with others. Because, right, you never know who you is helping, get through whatever it is that they're going through. Transformation. So I think this is really just all the clarity that we need. And like I said, you just never know who you helping to get through a difficult moment, to give them that woo side, to give them a place of freedom so they can release and be able to be themselves through this self-acceptance. And as well, and the more you bring in that self-acceptance or that self-awareness or that spiritual growth, you allow yourself to transform from this caterpillar to this beautiful butterfly. So, and even so, if you think about a caterpillar, these things or these entities or these creatures or bugs, whatever you want to call it, they know that they are vulnerable. They know that they're not safe from other predators, right? So they create a space for them to develop and grow once they reach a maturity age, and they build this cocoon surrounding their life. So you can consider that as a place of isolation, a place where you can free yourself and show yourself vulnerable, whether this be with others or with yourself. And I know some of us have a hard time believing that we are capable of changing regardless to the age. But once you bring self-awareness in or self-acceptance in, you find that somewhere in your life or somewhere in the aspect of your life that you were wrong. But it don't mean that you necessarily have to continue to walk around and feel sorry or continue to apologize for something that was said, done, or whatever on your behalf, or others, because you might not have been wrong. You just create that place of freedom for yourself to let go of whatever is keeping you down. And then with that comes romance and connection. So with romance and connection, it's not necessary. Like I said, this could be with other people. That's just saying that you're finding a spiritual connection either with yourself or with someone else that's connecting you on a more deeper level. Manifestation. I kind of get with this is what you seek is seeking you. Like I add that in my prayers when I start my readings for myself personally, or I am looking for a deeper meaning or understanding for someone else, is that the answers I seek me. That's like my go-to slogan. And what I get with that is, no matter how difficult that receiving this answer may be, it is what needs to be heard or said at the moment. So with that, you know, you bring in this intentional state of mind with receiving what it is that you are calling for. That's what I do with this manifestation. So although you don't see it now, doesn't mean that it's not working. Maybe there's something that you need to let go, whether that be a thought, a feeling, an emotion, a person. And I say this all the time: people, places, or things keep you bound from receiving your next blessing or your next calling or your reaching the next level within your life, because you're holding on to something that's not worth being held on to. Or if you is holding on to something that's not worth being held on to, maybe why is it that you're still holding on to this people, places, or things, and you are choosing to stay with it because you know that maybe God has brought this connection together or put you in a certain place, and it's hard to forget or hard to move on from it. But necessarily letting go doesn't mean you have to let go. It's just giving time and space for the moment to create itself, that you were where you're supposed to be in that moment. What did I say? Trust the universe, take charge, and action. With that, like I said, it's letting go to these people, places, and things, or letting go of these people, places, and things, and trusting that you are where you're supposed to be. Sometimes just giving that space and that time is all that is needed for someone to realize that you're the best thing that ever happened to them, or for you to appreciate that place and time where you once stood with this individual, or that this place has a significant meaning to you, to where it hurts to be there. And then you can come back to that once the both of you have healed and release whatever it is that you needed to release at the moment. And that is take charge and action. Again, it's just that you give in whatever that space and time. Now with this thing, this could be something that you both have given to one another, or something, or some type of advice or something that you provided with one another, and it just stuck. Or with the thing, it could be that maybe you was telling the person the right things all at the right time, but however, you wasn't the right individual to give them or provide them with that, to where they can receive it as no harm, no foul play being done, and they wasn't really accepting of that, but they rather choose to hear it come from other people rather than yourself, because they may feel like you are better than them, or you're more smart and intelligent than they are, which may be true in some cases. But however, you know you was the best person of yourself with them. You know that everything you have told them was for the benefit of you guys. Everything that you have done for them was for the benefit of you guys, and not for them and other people, but for you to um, reach levels that you both supposed to have been on. That's what I give that. But trust in the universe, trust in God that whatever is happening in your favor. And with that, and that's why I believe self-acceptance came out in the first place, because so the rest of these cards is really like confirmation. But I'm going to go deeper into it if I have the time to. So let's see what else is out here that we may need to hear today. And on another note, don't think that just because you got whatever is going on or whatever is happening in your life that you're not necessarily doing anything wrong. It's just that at a certain place in time that it's time to let go of what's not serving your higher or greater good. And if you one of those person where things come to you easily and all of a sudden that you just start seeing a decline in things, take that as the message that whatever it is, you need to release and let it go, because it's not worth holding on to. It's not worth seeking your life or just so someone else can gain from your assets or your abundance or your life. All right, so next up we have power and attention along with surrender. And I think that goes perfectly well with everything that I have just said so far. So with power and intention, that goes with manifestation. You create in that spiritual growth. And once you start growing, you surrender over to, thoughts and feelings and all these emotions and different things that's keeping you bound and keeping you stuck and stagnant. And overcoming barricades. That's how I want to put it. That's what I got. So you're overcoming these barricades in your life to create this room or this space for your growth, and it is not necessarily for your spiritual growth, for your transformation, for your romance and connection. And guys, again, so this romance and connection, it doesn't have to be with a partner. This could be with family, friends. This could be with outside people, outside of that circle, family and friends circle. So, like I said, you never know who you may be speaking to give them advice, to give them that advice, to help them with moving on and, speaking life over with them. And with that comes this vulnerability and freedom. Like, not only did you help them, but you also saw the message in what you were delivering unto them to release and to let go and to be vulnerable with yourself and to trust yourself and to be free with yourself and to gain this freedom of releasing this person, because this person or these people, these places or things may have felt like a burden that kept you trapped, and which is why Trust the Universe came out here. Trust the Universe don't necessarily have to mean for those of you that have a religious belief, or for those of you that do believe in God. That is what that means, to trust in what it is that you believe in, to carry you over from one phase to the next, to help you release what it is that you need to release, so that you can bring self-acceptance and awareness back into your life that you have lost because of another individual. And not all the time that, it may come up, it don't come up when we want it to. Sometimes these things that we do have to wait on to accomplish, so that, because we may be still holding on to something that's keeping us stuck and stagnant. But however, whatever the situation is, it's all just temporary. Nothing is to last forever on this earth. So, all because you don't see it now, that don't mean it's not working in your favor. Because y'all burn myself. I got my AC, my table is right under my vent, and I got the fan on. So I'm trying to light this incense stick and the wind is just blowing my lighter everywhere. Got it. Okay. So, yeah. And then at the end of that, once you figure out that you hold the power, and with your power comes you hold with your power comes the intentions of what it is that you're trying to create or release yourself from. And with that, once you create what it is that you are wanting to release, or what it is that you are calling in, you surrender that over to the universe. You surrender that over to God. You lay it at the cross. You give it over to Jesus. Whatever it is that you needed to let it go, surrender it over to a higher power. That is what you are doing. That is what you are doing to create movement in your life, to remove those stumbling blocks out of your life. Yeah, I actually got my Starseed deck the other day. It came in not the other day, but about 2 days ago. I'm not really sure if I want to use this at the moment, but I'm going to pull a couple of cards and see what it says, and see if it's going to align with the message for today. And with that power and intention came ask and receive. So whatever you guys doing, just remember too that no matter what the case may be, if you put your mind to it, there's nothing that you cannot manifest into your life. And here it is, do the work. I feel like that asking and receiving and do the work, that's like a phase of healing, with surrender being not here as well. Of course, we take charge and action, trusting the universe, and power and intention with manifestation. So for me, that sounds like a space of healing, or a space of calling in healing. Okay, I think that's it for the angel oracle deck. Let me see what this Starseed deck has to say. And I'm doing good. I'm 18 minutes into my reading. Although it's been a little stumbling here and there, I think I did pretty good with reducing the time from almost 30 plus minutes down to like 20 something. So that just means that I'm getting better with my readings, and that, unless you guys have to continue to hear me rumble. Although once I do get going, I do like talking, y'all. So let's see. We have the void. Stop, embrace winter, great cosmic womb. So with that, and with darkness, you create. So what I'm understanding from this is that embracing the coldest part of yourselves, like giving yourself that hug that you so desperately needed, or that love that you didn't receive growing up. And within that great cosmic womb, within the womb, you create. Life is created. Or, in darkness, creation is made, because that's considered like the womb of where, if you're spiritual and you read tarot cards, and then you know what I mean about creativity also comes from a dark place, not always what's seen in the light. Like, when I'm going through things, like I write poetry. So when I'm going through something, that becomes my escape route to create. I'm currently now working on a book because of that. And what brought me to that point was that I felt the need to do so bad that I just had to get my laptop and just start typing some stuff up, because I just felt like that it needed to be released, and it also needed to be shared, because things like that isn't, it is meant to be shared. You don't keep stuff like that to yourself. So that's why I'm at. And it consists of some things that some quotes that I tell myself personally, or some poems that I have wrote in the past, even up to now. So along with that, I've added some scriptures in there as well, for those of you that are on a more religious or Christian path, and make sure that it was relatable information, because some things you just gotta share, and it's not worth holding on to. So the next card I was the cosmic heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. I continue to say, when you wake up in the morning, say that prayer over yourself. Before you step out yourself, say that prayer of protection over yourself. Even when you don't plan on going nowhere, you never know what may happen from one day to the next. A bullet can come flying through your house and strike you, or hit your kids, or a fire may break out, or something that may happen. But once you say that prayer of protection, once you do that, and I believe in prayer, when you pray, you do it with a sincere heart, so that it may reach the Most High, and you won't have to go through a third party, which would be Jesus Christ. But however, for the most part, because as they say, God knows what is in the heart, and whatever is in the heart comes out, right? So I feel like that you don't necessarily have to go through Jesus Christ to relay your prayer over to God, as long as you do that with a sincere heart, and with love and kindness, and understanding what you are praying for, and He will hear that and deliver. But even so, make your life a moving prayer. You know what? That comes with that belief that no matter what happens, you got this. No matter what happens, they can't take this away. No matter what happens, your shakeback is better than your downfall. No matter what happens, that you can, whatever you are going through, there is a way out. No matter what you are going through, you make things happen despite. Yeah, I'm sorry, I feel some crawling on me. You make things happen despite your financial stability. No matter what happens, is that you make sure what and who's in your life, in your household, gets taken care of. So that's kind of what I see with that, because you create that space for that to happen by releasing the things that you cannot control. That's what I'm saying here. You're releasing what it is that you can't control, and that what keeps you abundant, and not just doing for other people. You could be providing a message within someone's life and don't even know it, and that becomes your blessing. You're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. And then you have inner earth. You will survive the new solution and beginnings. That's it. That's confirmation in itself. And I think I'm going to stop there now, because I'm going on 25 minutes. And I'm going to say this, is that this embrace your weirdness. If you know for a fact that you don't feel, that you feel for people on a more different level, that's a sign in its own. If you feel like that your adulthood don't resonate with your childhood, and that you are now realizing that people treat you a lot different than other family members, that's that sign right there. If you have children, and you know that being around your siblings, you never felt really connected to them. This kind of piggybacking off what I just said. But if you have children, and you see that they are being treated the way that you were when you was a kid, that's that sign right there. It's time to look past, look forward, and move on. Don't think nothing of it. Don't overthink it, because it is what it is. You got some family members that treat other children better than your own. That's not blood related. That's that sign right there. And one thing about me, like, once I get into a headspace and I know that I was doing this, but I realize it now that I actually was really, doing this, and it really brought to my attention in the worst ways. But I realize it now, and I'm working on it now. But you know, some of the things that I was saying weren't always true, but I realized that more or less it was coming from a very hurtful place. And with that, I was hurting some people. So I guess you could say that was damage control. And by me going into myself and going on my shadow work journey, I realized that I was doing that. So I've been working on that part of myself to control that aspect of myself. And now that I'm realizing that, I can see it, that that attitude of me is now being projected on me by other people. So, you know, so now I get into the habit of acknowledging that, and acknowledging what they're said and doing may not just be coming, it's not coming from a hurtful place, but it's coming from a place that I've created. So with that, I let them have that grace. I let them have their moment. And if need to, I will confront them on it later. But other than that, I just let it be, because I understand what it was that I was doing. And what it was that was said, that was being said by them not actually seeing it. So that's that, that's that spiritual growth and that transformation that that was created by me. And then too, not to get it twisted up, because you have some people that intentionally does that anyway, without a second thought, and they don't notice that they're doing it, but they do it. So just the other day, my sister caught a little snappy attitude with me, or what it felt like a snappy attitude. And I just really just shut it down. Like, I was only asking, were you? Because at the moment we're going through a family thing, so it's like just two people can only be in the room at a time, and it was one of them situations. So I was kind of upset about it, but then too, I was like, you know what, I don't want to speak on it, I don't want to talk about it, because there's nothing to talk about. So we have these cellular healing, Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing. That goes back to what I was saying, that you realize some of the things that you were saying, but you don't pay attention to what you're saying, and knowing that it's, and where it is deriving from, until you sit with that energy. Perspective, none of this matters. Zoom out, common ground. That's understanding things from another's point of view, from their perspective. Y'all, this went into 30 minutes anyway. I'm gonna pull one tarot card for this reading and see what type of energy or challenges that we can do, or what it is that we can use to continue to progress. And we have the Ace of Cups, finding security and a helping hand. Sometimes we go through things, and we go through them alone, and we don't have the necessary stability needed to sustain that energy throughout the whole entire phase for some of us. And for some of us, we may need a helping hand to see what it is that we are missing, to see what it is that we're not understanding, to get us through that process. Thank you guys for tuning in to Intuitive Moon Goddess channel. I really do appreciate the love. Thank you. You have a blessed and wonderful day. Goodbye.